Okay, and so we're back, and I'm here with Lili Sandelin, who is a filmmaker, so a film person of wearing lots of hats, and we'll be talking a lot about that. How are you today, Lili?
Not bad, not bad. Enjoying the storm?
Yes, exactly. We've had quite a stormy week, haven't we? So tell me a little bit about your work in the film industry in Edinburgh.
I've been in Edinburgh now for 15 years.
Wow.
And I started out my career in film in London.
Oh, wow.
In post-production, and then came here to do my MFA and changed radically into producing, because I'm a masochist. So I'm now working as a producer and production manager on corporate promos, music videos, documentaries and drama.
So what made you move up to Edinburgh, and how would you, you're originally from Finland, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you kind of rate the Edinburgh film community? I mean, I know we talk a lot about that, and how is it different than other cities you've worked in the past?
Edinburgh is so much more inclusive, and it's much easier to make connections here, and it feels like a big happy family of filmmakers, rather than if you're in London, where the competition's so much harder than here, that you kind of end up having to be a bit more selfish and use your elbows. Here you can actually contact people, have a nice chat, and there is a way of being able to support each other, which kind of doesn't exist in a lot of bigger cities.
And one of the things I love is when I talk to all different people from different parts, they all know you. It's just a very kind of small, but you've been working in the industry for so long. What would you say about the talent that the Scottish film industry have? You probably know many people who work in the Scottish film industry.
I do, partly as well because I've been doing quite a lot of visiting lecturing, and I'm now a tutor at Edinburgh College of Art. Yeah. So I get to see the raw talent,
yeah,
and help kind of, hone them and develop their skills. And it's amazing to see them a few years later work in the industry. So there's a huge amount of talent here. I think the biggest issue is that for a lot of them, they feel like they have to go to London or they return to countries that they're from. Yeah. But there is still a lot of chance for them to create their own careers here and be very successful too. Yeah,
and we have such great universities. You've been involved, like you just said, with the ECA, but you've also been involved with Napier as well.
Correct.
So how do you think that translates in creating kind of a community of filmmakers?
I think it starts from the students working on each other's films and then kind of creating their little mini crews. And once they go into the industry and work in different capacities, whether it's camera or editing or directing or sound, they do tend to end up collaborating quite a lot. And it continues. I've got still, connections from my first year here that I'm regularly still working with.
And one of the nice things is that you work, I think, you work with them and over that time. And what would you say to, I mean, I really love how when you're at our networking events, how welcoming you are to everybody you meet, but how you're bringing in some of the students that you work with and sort of challenging them to meet new people and stuff. What would your number one advice be to someone who's about to graduate and thinking about moving to London or staying in Edinburgh, like if they really do want to, and what would you usually say to your students?
First of all, don't panic. It's okay not to know what you want to do. And secondly, have a 5-year plan, decide what department you want to work in, and then network, because it's really the only way to really get enough work is to get to know who's in the industry. Go and talk to people. They don't bite.
Why producing for you? I mean, like you said, it is a bit of a tough job, and probably some people don't appreciate how much goes into it. But why do you love being a producer?
I think I love it because I'm a masochist and a control freak, and a bit of a mother as well, because in the end the job is very much taking care of your crews and your cast, being very organized, but you do end up kind of you end up being the boss, and it's kind of fun.
And like you said, you work on music videos and corporate videos and documentaries and narrative fiction. Which ones? Is there something that you need skills for to be a narrative producer versus a documentary, and which ones do you prefer to work on?
It's really all about being organized and being a storyteller. So it's not there's not an enormous kind of difference. Yes, certain specific skills that you need more in TV or more if you're doing big budget, corporate projects. But in the end, it all comes down to storytelling and being creative.
Well, Lili and I have been working together over the past year to kind of build up this networking nights and master classes, and you have so much experience and so much knowledge of who to reach out to. So I'm super grateful for that. But we just started working on something together as well, called it's your sort of project that you and a few other people are your first pub quiz called Cinequiz. And can you tell me a little bit about how you came up with the idea to run your own pub quiz?
It's been a bit of a sort of pet dream of mine for some time. I love pub quizzes.
Yeah,
it's so much fun to go to them. And then by chance, the owner of a pub asked me, we've got this new venue and we've got some space. We're trying to think of something to do upstairs. And I just blurted out, can we try a film quiz, please? And so we had our first one start of this month, and it's going to be a monthly event now. And you can find us on Facebook at Cinequiz Edinburgh.
Yeah, and it's Sophie Southside, and it's first Monday of every month. But it turns out the space it's quite a big space up there, but we took over the first half, and it was so busy, and that it was we need a bigger boat. We need to use both sides, I think, right?
Absolutely. So it's expanding already after its first session. So we will have an Eventbrite system as well for the next one, so we can kind of gauge how many people want to come and to make sure that those who do book do get a seat, because it was a bit of a scramble getting some extra stools and things last time.
I was just exciting that there were that many people excited about it, and everyone who I talked to really enjoyed it. I was part of a team who did quite well. We were number 2, but it was very, very hard. And I also, I'm not always. I review films here and whatnot, but I'm not always of knowledge of all things film. And it really did test our team's knowledge, and it was surprising who could bring in what and whatnot. But what kind of like breadth and what's just sort of your idea on the film quiz in terms of like different questions or rounds and things like that you try to make sure it's full and challenging, if you will? Well,
to make it fun, we've got a picture round. We also have a sound round instead of a music round, so sounds from films, which actually that was the challenging one, definitely. Yeah. But we have a theme every month. So this month's one was Valentine's Day Massacre. Yeah. And next month is Globetrotting. Yeah. And then we have various ones. April Fools, May the 4th be with you. So that they are always, their themes. And we try and make sure that the questions are suitable for any age, the kind of film audiences. So it's not just for teenagers, not just for the oldies, and every possible genre. Yeah, and I really loved the sound round as well. I thought it was very hard. The Quiet Place really got stumped us. Very difficult. I think everyone just sat there going, what is this? And then, it was great. And then what was really fun about it also afterwards is that you show the clips and reveal it, and you can just completely put 2 and 2 together. So it's really interactive, it's really fun, and as you said, first Monday of every month at Sophie Southside upstairs. The next one will be Globetrotting, and it's the 2nd of March, Monday, and it's at 7 p.m. arrive, right? 7 p.m. arrive, and then we'll start the quiz at 7:30. Yeah, and make sure you arrive early, because as we had experienced last time, there were it was quite tight. We got everybody in, but it is quite popular, so look forward to seeing you there. So I'm back with Lili, and we're going to talk a little bit about the other things that you do. Particularly, let's talk about Iberodocs. You're the marketing director this year for Iberodocs, correct? This year I'm dealing with marketing and communications. Marketing and communications, yeah. And this year is the 7th edition of the festival already. Mm-hmm. And it's a very new thing for me to be involved with film festivals, because I'm usually the one that brings my own films there. Yeah. So it's quite interesting to see the kind of like the behind the scenes. But it's a very exciting festival. especially because it does end up covering such a huge range of films and events as well. So the ethos is really about bringing Ibero-American culture to Scottish audiences and uniting people with Portuguese, Brazilian, Spanish backgrounds to also celebrate their own culture.
Yeah, so it's Iberodocs, so it's predominantly, it's all documentaries, correct?
Mainly documentary, although we've got a new strand this year, 2 new strands. One is Beyond Docs, where basically filmmakers who have made documentaries before and in our 2 films cases have screened films before Iberodocs, they're bringing in more fictionalized films, but still with a very sort of strong reality element to them. And another strand we have is diving into the archives, which is actually looking at 2 very famous Spanish artists, author Miguel Delibes and Luis Buñuel. So we have some really interesting events and film screenings happening as part of that one. And this year's themes are isolation, colonialism, and migration. So all the films have a bit of a link to these themes as well.
So we interviewed Mar last year to talk about the 6th and the 7th. You just mentioned a couple of things to look forward to, but tell me a little bit about what you think people should know about Iberodocs and which events that they should. When are the dates and which one should they maybe start thinking about going to?
So we open on the Wednesday, 26th of February in Edinburgh.
Okay.
And we run till the 11th of March in Edinburgh. And then we move to CCA in Glasgow, where we have events running till the 15th of March.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's a good stretch of programs and things. Yeah.
It's really nice to have the CCA and at your disposal, so you can be running those kinds of programs for multiple different audiences, both in Glasgow and Edinburgh. But you can see it at the Cameo, right? And
Film House, and we have screenings also at the Edinburgh College of Art, panel discussions, various events. So we have exhibitions, a Spanish language book launch as well, which is very, very interesting. And yeah, quite a lot of music-related things this year as well. We have an amazing DJ filmmaker, Rita Maya, coming, and she opens the festival with her film Lisbon Beat, which is then followed by a party with her and a panel discussion. So that's 3 events, all part of that one.
yeah, and you have a documentary on Fela as well.
Yes, my friend Fela. So that's all Fela Kuti's life, an amazing Nigerian musician, looking at his life.
And then the films that you were talking about, like Buñuel, tell me a little bit about that event. Isn't there a live score involved or something?
There is, yes. So in Edinburgh Cameo, 7th of March, we do a double bill. One is a feature documentary, a feature animation, which is absolutely stunning. It's just won a bunch of different awards around the world. And that's followed by a Louis Buñuel's 1936 short documentary with a live score by 2 Spanish musicians who've specifically written this score for this screening.
Great. So you definitely need to go check out Iberodocs starting on the 26th of February. Lily, after Iberodocs, it sounds like you have a really busy spring coming up. Any exciting projects you're looking forward to?
Actually, I'm going to go slightly sideways, and I've actually got a crafts project coming up.
Oh, really?
Very, very interesting kind of change from films for a couple of months.
Oh, great, but you'll still be teaching and we'll be Cinequiz, and then hopefully we're working together on a new project starting up masterclasses for our networking nights as well, so you can see Lily at those as well. Hopefully you'll be at all of them.
And it should be interesting, as we'll be taking people from different departments. So art department would be production designer, props person, special effects, and then they do a little panel discussion, and same thing with camera department. And when you've been talking about bringing in screenwriters as well, because that's something that students and people interested in film also don't really get access to writers. Yeah,
absolutely. And one of the things I've been talking to David about, who runs these screenwriting sessions at Cameo every other weekend, is we're going to maybe talk about the business of screenwriting. So, a lot of people might have an idea of a script or have learned that, but they don't necessarily know you know, how do they get an agent, or do they get an agent? Do they actually get a producer, or all those things that you might be asked a lot at the beginning, or be thinking about a lot to sort of get yourself on the career. But that's sort of our idea with these masterclasses, is to kind of bridge the gap of allowing for, you know, sharing information from professionals to, you know, semi-professionals and people who are just getting in the business, and being able to ask these questions in kind of an informal thing, and then be able to network afterwards.
Absolutely, the most important part of it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Lili, so much for taking the time to hang out with us today, and we're looking forward to seeing you at Iberodocs and Cinequiz.